overcome some of the constraints in terms of the impact that policy and laws in New Zealand have impacted the practice of rongoa Māori. I think one of the ways is I've been able to leverage skills that I've had in a previous life in the IT world and use those to have discussions with decision makers to present cases that demonstrate the value that rongoa Māori offers, not just Māori but all New Zealanders, in that no one healing modality has all the answers, and our community or our population is richer for the choice. So I found myself in roles, in representative roles, and being consulted because I understand a little bit of the modern medicine world and enough of the Māori world to try and bridge those gaps. But I think the biggest asset for me has been the support of iwi. Having iwi at your back, having other rongoa Māori practitioners at your back who are happy to support you as you lead the charge in terms of ensuring that rongoa Māori have a seat at the table when it comes to developing new policy. And so we've been very, very forward in terms of ensuring that we are consulted on the new therapeutic product bill, which is currently on the table and is intended as a replacement to the Medicines Act, to making sure that we understand the impact of other policies. So for example, the Plant Variety Act review, which is all about incentivising plant breeders to develop new species of plant. And on the surface that doesn't look like something that would be of great interest to rongoa Māori, but it is of very big interest to rongoa Māori. And we need to get in front of the decision makers to ensure that they understand the potential impact of breeding new strains, for example, of Mānuka, planting them widely across the country, because as those rākau change or are being hybridised, that may also change the way that we are able to safely use them in rongoa Māori. Or alternatively, our ability to access the plants that we know best how to use, because nature will naturally start to hybridise those plants as well. And if you have large plantings of hybridised Mānuka, then very quickly it's going to be difficult for healers to access the species that we are familiar and safe to work with. I think our inter-iwi politics is another challenge that we have, and ensuring that we rise above that has been a really important asset, because often we have to work cross iwi, and it's about acknowledging individual whānau, iwi, hapu's rights to practice rongoa in a way that is appropriate for them. One size doesn't fit all for Māori when it comes to rongoa Māori and many other things. Mātauranga is often unique to whānau, iwi, hapu. And ensuring that we respect that and that we don't propose to talk for all Māori, and that we keep people well informed. Another asset that I found on my journey is that when I work in a representative role, for example for Te Kahui Rongoa, that I'm not paid for that. I don't want to be paid for that, and then there can be no confusion as to my motives for the work that I do, and it's one less piece of internal politics that I don't have to deal with. I'm fortunate that I have a husband who supports me, and so that I'm able to do these things in my own time. But when we start commanding large consultant fees from our iwi and hapu, then doubt creeps in as to the motive of why people might be doing these things, and that's one less thing that I don't have to deal with. Is I don't think when you're paying your own airfares to Wellington and things like that, people are not doubting your motive, and they're more likely to support you. And life does change when there's a a bucket of putia at the end of the table. And yeah, I find that I get a lot more support, and our people are really good. When I go to Wellington, there's always somebody waiting at the airport to meet me. Somebody always has an apartment that I can stay in. There's people who come to karakia for me before I go and embark on discussions with the Crown. There's always a helping hand there when people trust your motives. And so that's probably been my biggest asset in my work, is having the support of our community and ensuring that that continues.